want to talk to you today about media appearances, whether it be radio, podcasts, or television, especially television, which is pretty whacked out and pre-planned. Remember, anything news related, like somebody wants you to be a guest on a show, a news show, a late night show, some kind of talk show, I'm going to give you some principles that I have used to help guide me when it comes to media appearances. Number one, only have media appearances that you initiate through press releases. When someone reaches out to you, many times you don't know what their ulterior motives are. I have worked with so many people who have been on television. I was on TV as a commercial actor for many years, and my voice was used in voiceovers and commercials, and I've hosted and emceed many shows on TV, and my voice has been used in many websites as well. But if someone reaches you and wants you to be on a show, the number one rule for television appearances or podcasts or panel shows is they say if it bleeds, it leads. You're not being contacted because you are offering such great wisdom. You're being contacted because you're controversial. And one of the rules that I learned was you never know who other guests on the show are going to be. So you might be on a show, a podcast, and across the table from you, sitting at a mic, is someone who disagrees with you, has written a book about you, has done podcasts about you, and then all of a sudden you're on the spot and you are automatically put into a defensive position. How do you avoid that? You only go on the shows that you want to go on, and that's done through press releases or direct inquiry, where you email the show producer or the podcaster themselves, depending on who they are. But you do the initiating. If someone reaches out to you, 9 times out of 10, it's because of controversy, not because they love your work and your body of work like moved their life. Now, that's happened with me a few times. But as far as the antagonistic and adversarial stuff, that's pretty much the rule when it comes to television, okay? Like, if you were invited onto the, let's say, Dr. Phil show, I was invited on the Dr. Phil show. I knew that it was going to be an antagonistic appearance. They were going to bring people that were against me, that saw my work, listened to my podcast, disagreed with me, and were going to try to make me look like a chump. I declined and I referred it out to someone else. Number 2, you control the narrative, but never be the control group, if that makes any sense. You control the narrative when it comes to TV and media appearances, and always have bullet points, 3x5 cards, a list of things. I happen to like 3x5 cards because I can hold them in my hand and refer to them. When I get done with the bullet points, I just take one card and put it behind the other, that type of thing, rather than having like this sheet of paper, which is just kind of, everybody fumbles with paper, so I like the idea of cards. And when I've given speeches, many times I don't like having a piece of paper and notes on the podium and having the microphone in front of me. I like stepping away. I prefer a lapel mic. That way I can walk on the stage to the edge of the stage from the left to the right. And the only notes that I'm looking at are in my hand on the cards. Think about it, because if you have pages of notes on a podium, you are stuck to that podium. And a person standing in one place on stage just means that half the people are going to zone out and they're going to just fall asleep, and it's not going to be a good appearance. Number 3, and I mentioned this in number 1, never agree to something where you don't know who the opposition is. I always ask, will there be other guests on the podcast? Because if you're put into a defensive position where you have to start defending your tenets, defending your bullet points, it's going to be really difficult. And what happens is you end up being the clown, and you end up being the person that gets made fun of and this type of thing. And you want your media appearances to be done with dignity, right? You don't want to be somebody's punching bag or be the, don't be like this guy. You don't want to be that guy, okay? Number 4, TV today and podcasts now is all about controversy and is agenda driven. So do as much research into the show host as you can. Find out what other guests were. Find out how they've treated other guests. Not that I'm saying that you need to fear being on a show, but if the reality is, if their goal is trying to humiliate you, which in many cases it is, especially if it's on TV or especially if it's on a panel show, Find out what their agenda is. How have they treated people in the past? What kind of people do they have on the show? What kind of guests do they have? Number 5, never participate in anything controversial unless you strategically organize it. You need to be the source of that controversy, not them. Again, it's a really bad look if you have to be on the defensive all the time. Number 6, the media is not your friend. The media is not your friend. They're manufacturing stories, not telling the truth. You know how someone says, well, it must be true. I saw it on Facebook. It must be true. I saw it on YouTube. It must be true. I saw it on television, on a late night show or a panel show. The reality is, if it bleeds, it leads. The more controversy there is, the more eyeballs they know that will be on it. What you don't want to end up doing is be a serious guest on something that's going to make you look like it's the Jerry Springer show. Nothing against Jerry Springer, but what you don't want to do is be in the center of controversy. If you want to make money, you want to stir trouble, that's one thing. But the name of this teaching is the positive use of social media for profit. You don't want to just stir trouble, okay? You want people to go to your website. You want to be able to have revenue as a result of your appearance on a podcast, on TV, on radio, on a panel show. Number 7, media is like the Miranda warning. Think about this. Everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of public opinion. Think about that. Court of public opinion. Many people are declared guilty before they are actually declared guilty in court. What you don't want is the general public saying, guilty, get this guy out of here, he's a scumbag, and then cutting off your revenue, that kind of thing. Because now with cancel culture, they go after people's sponsors, they go after your payment processors, and the reality is they are not your friend. Everything in the media is one big giant Miranda warning. Keep that in mind. Number 8, every story on TV and radio has a victim or a villain. Who are you? You decide, remember when I said you decide the narrative. Are you going to be on someone's show as the victim or as the villain or as a hero? Many times they put other people on the panel or across the table or desk from you on these media shows, whether it be a podcast or on television, someone who maybe did their research on you, did some homework on you, and decided, it might say, well, in 1997, you did this, or you did that, or you said this. What do you say about that now? And again, you're put into a place of being defensive for things that you've said or done in the past. So decide, are you the hero? Are you the victim? Are you the villain? Don't ever be the villain. Number 9, if it's not controversy, it's not chosen for coverage. If it bleeds, it leads. Classic journalism motto there. The media thrives on controversy, especially panel shows. When did you ever see a panel show of some type, television or online somewhere, where people all get along and agree on something, right? It's the controversy and the drama that's attractive. Like, I never thought that I would enjoy seeing people argue and fight on TV and disagree with each other and throw chairs and this kind of stuff. Remember years ago when these shows started, this Geraldo Rivera started that stuff. And then Jerry Springer and Montel Williams and you name it. There was all these different shows. Phil Donahue, where people are just disagreeing, and the drama is in the disagreeing. I don't think it made anyone rich, except the people who were stirring the trouble. Number 10, it's hard to stay on message if they throw a curveball at you. That's why you don't go on shows unless you initiate it. Or if you get invited on a show, I've been invited on many shows. I have done over 350 shows and podcasts, quite a few. But you have to ask them, what is the show about? Who are some past guests that you've had on? That's real important. Number 11, never underestimate how much they know about you. There might be show producers that did some homework on you and found out that you had a parking ticket back in 2005. Found out that you raised your voice or slammed a door or got fired from a job, that kind of thing. So there's people doing a lot of research on you. Number 12, when talking is over, you control nothing. There's no rebuttals. Like in court, you get to say what you're going to say, and then there's the defense. They say what they're going to say, and then you get a rebuttal. The reality is, when the cameras stop, when the microphones are turned off, there's no rebuttals. So you don't get a chance to edit anything. You don't get a chance to kind of reel back, dial back the words that came out of your mouth. And words are like bullets. Once they leave the gun, you can't call them back. And number 13, everything that comes out of your mouth can be misconstrued and distorted. You can count on that. So there's some positive use of social media regarding media appearances. This came from decades of research of being on TV shows, radio shows, and podcasts as well. Things that have bitten me and things that have brought more money into my life as well. So don't learn the hard way like many of us more experienced people have. I hope you learned from this.
With continued use, a heroin user can expect a host of health issues, including a high risk for hepatitis C and HIV. The first step is detoxification. This can mean completely stopping all opiates, but it seems like the options are as overwhelming as they are endless. The Affordable Care Act's Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act requires private health insurance plans to provide equal amounts of mental health benefits as medical and surgical benefits. Not all plans are subject to this act, so it is up to us. More addictive and harder to recover from. For example, online gambling is available 24/7 via computer or mobile device, anywhere there's an internet connection. And recovery. It helps people change the thoughts and behaviors that might jeopardize their recovery. Such is not the case for the 5% to 10% of individuals with a biological predisposition to addiction. The thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that characterize grief are part of the healing process that takes time and patience to work through. We typically associate grief with the death of a loved one or the breakup of a long relationship.